Hey everyone, it is 8:30 on a Wednesday evening, which means it's Wafflers Wednesday. I'm Claire, this is the Great British Mickey Waffle, and tonight I am so excited. We are going to talk about something that is not on dry land. We are going to be talking about the Disney Wish and our experiences on the Disney Wish this year particularly. We have a friend of the show joining us, so grab a drink, make yourself comfortable, take some anti-sickness tablets, and we'll see you in a moment. So, regulars on a Wednesday will notice that we are not even 2 minutes in, and I've completely ruined this.
It doesn't matter. That was fine, Claire. It was okay. We'll do it again.
We'll pretend no one noticed.
You just do things your own way, Claire. That's
right.
Exactly.
So, for the context,
put your own spin on it.
Ben and Becca are currently about 30,000 feet above the Atlantic on their way to Orlando, which means that John and I and Robin and Simon, we're in charge tonight. So anything could happen, and already has. So I was so confident. I was like, that's the right video.
Yeah, it was. I was
completely the wrong video.
I went straight into video, and I'm like, oh, Claire's live. And I know, actually, I know from another YouTube show I used to do with Stephen and Charlie. When that little red light comes on at the very start, it's the most difficult thing to get the timing right, and you absolutely nailed it.
There we are. That's what matters. I'm going to show the other video now, so pretend none of this has happened.
YouTube can catch up. That's
right.
What it is.
We're here. It's about the wish. Come back to us in 45 seconds.
Oh my God.
It's like nothing ever happened. I've just seen in the chat. Ben's like,
I
noticed.
Yeah, I am as well. Statler and Waldorf are sponsored by Virgin Airlines.
Yeah,
that's it. We're just going to get heckled.
Wi-Fi isn't that good.
Yeah.
Talking of Wi-Fi, for people who didn't join our Ted Lasso show on Friday, just notice that I am absolutely in HD tonight because my Wi-Fi has been I have the best Wi-Fi out of everyone now, which is fantastic.
You've earned that.
Better than Jason's, or so you told him at least 25 times.
just to be sure. So we are John, Robin, Simon's made it yet?
Simon was here.
I was going to say he was there, and now he's not there.
He was here. He went to get changed because he literally ran in the front door as we were starting.
There he is. It's like, it's like Mr. Ben, and stop people. commitment to it. We're talking about Disney Wish, Disney cruising, but particularly the Disney Wish night. And because there's a gap around the table, 3, it looks okay. Robin and Simon are on the naughty step on their own at the moment. I thought we need to.
You see, we got promoted this week, Claire.
I think after that complete I should be back on the naughty
we
step.
know our place.
But I think because it kind of looks a bit lopsided at the moment, we have to invite a friend. And so welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Nice guy, Zach Brown.
Hi, everybody.
So great to have you here
as well, Zach. Yeah.
Just for you, John. Just for you.
Very nice.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. And Simon's put on a snazzy shirt too. That looks like a Disney Wish shirt.
I feel actually really underdressed for a change. I've not got any cruise merch, and actually, since I spent so long trying to upload videos for the show.
Oh, but you know what? Zach, it is so great to have you here.
It is.
Thank you all. So happy to be here.
It's been too long since you were on the show. So
it has been a minute.
Yeah.
What's happened?
I'm not sure we've ever done a show together.
I know this is actually my first time meeting the new kids on the block.
Oh, wow.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
I'm trying to remember all the names. Jordan, Joey, Donnie.
And now Simon.
Yes, that's it. But yeah, it's great to have you here. And I know that you have not long been on the Wish and have some tales to tell. So
yes,
we will get to that. But first of all, let's just in case I haven't. So I'm so unprepared tonight. Please bear with me. I have no script, so I'm winging this tonight. So anything can happen.
Well, we won't tell you then.
All right. I'm assuming that he can't do anything about it from where he is at the moment, so I don't care.
Just wait.
Ben, I know this feeling well.
Yeah, he doesn't care. But yeah, so if you haven't already, ring the little bell on YouTube. Like and share our content. Make sure that you don't miss out on anything that comes in the future. So, and if you aren't sure, then head to gbmickeywaffle.com. You'll find all of our stuff there. There's some people in the chat, and
which was in first. I'll do the chat. I'll do the little bit where you can, because otherwise, you know what happens is I'll click on one thing and then you click on the same thing.
I won't touch.
Normally happens with me and Ben.
Look,
and then
no hands. I'm not touching anything.
That's basically me, need, isn't it?
I'm not saying anything other than that. Butch, thank you so much. Permission granted. I'm so glad you're here.
Welcome, Taylor.
I feel like it's like you're like the greeter at the yacht club, John. Maybe that's your future career. You know, the guy who stands in the.
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't it? That's got to be a dream job, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Just to stand there within
smash
that smell every single day when you go into it, you'd be just like going just to inhale the smell of the yacht club.
You're going for the smell of it.
You'd be great. You'd smash it.
And
next thing we had Sean. Nice to see you, Sean.
Yeah, hi, Sean.
Oh my goodness! If you don't book it by the end of this show, then
we haven't done our job.
Yeah. Jane, it's lovely to see you. Ben clearly has, he's in holiday spending mode and he's bought the Wi-Fi. So Ben is messaging from up in the air.
Yeah, repeatedly.
Repeatedly, yeah. He's obviously used up all the in-flight entertainment options and his last resort is to watch us. Marla, welcome. Man. So great to have you here from a long way away, but it doesn't matter. Carrie,
thank you. Yes, I like that.
Right, totally. We'll get to that. Yeah, you never know. Anything can happen. Who else have we got in the chat? Heather's here. Thank you for joining us, Heather. Colton, I see Colton in the chat, and it's got to be lunchtime, I'm sure. You know the drill, Colton. You need to tell us what you're having. Who else is down there? Are there drinks available on this cruise? Yes, because Colton, now you're 21, you can drink. So, well, legitimately drink. There are always drinks on this cruise. I think that John has a drink. I think that Robin and Simon probably.
It's Wednesday.
Zach, have you got a drink?
Be rude not to.
Got a rep
Drinks.
what we're doing.
Cheers, all.
Yeah.
Chin chin. That's it.
Drinks package is a must.
Oh yeah, I got stung by that in the first 10 minutes. We'll get to that. Enchanted, nice to have you here. Hello. And anyone else snuck in further down the line? Trying to have a look.
I saw
Sean
Dan is in the chat there.
Oh, okay. I haven't got down that far.
No, I haven't.
No, Colton, I don't have a glass of wine. Colton's asked why I don't have a glass of wine tonight. That's slightly concerning. I have my Castaway Key thermos mug, which has actually got a gin and tonic in it. So
there you go.
Do you know what? If you'd said to me, guess what's in my mug, I would have gone, I bet that's gin and tonic, Claire.
It is a gin and tonic. It isn't full. I'm just saying it's a massive thermos. It is not
I
full.
wouldn't have judged you.
No.
I wouldn't have judged you.
Well, you know.
It's just also Port with Travel. Neil and Karen are joining us. They have been on a research day to Liverpool today on board.
Ooh.
Basically, welcomed aboard a big cruise ship that's sat in the port of Liverpool, and they get to walk around, indulge themselves in what travel agents do, and just sort of then get back in the car at the end of the day and have to go home instead of sailing away, which is a bit of a disappointment, really. But yeah, thank you, Neil. I got a lovely picture of Bramley Moor Dock, which will be Everton's new home at some point when they decide that they've got enough money to finish it. But
Oh dear.
yeah, but hey ho, that's a whole other show anyway. But that's it.
So where do we start with the Disney Wish? Fifth ship to be built by Disney Cruise Line. It's interestingly known as the Wish class. I don't know if they've all got their own class. It's Wish class. Capacity is 5,555 people. And
That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people. And it says it's 1,555 crew. Is that in addition to the 5,555?
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so just over 7,000 people
lot.
on board. That'll be why it feels quite big.
Yeah. Feels quite big. And I in comparison to the other ships, which we've done all bar the Wonder, we noticed how many more people there were on the ship.
Yeah.
So even for the ship size, because it is a bit bigger, but it definitely felt like there were more people.
So you went on the Wish in April?
Yep, the end of April.
And Zach, you were there in May?
May 8th through 12th.
Cool. And I was there. I was there just at the end of March.
There you go.
For 3 nights. And I think we all did similar to the Bahamas and Castaway Key trips.
Yep.
Which is the route that the Wish is taking currently. It's kind of only just doing those little loops, 3 and 4 night cruises, I think, mainly. Stopping at Castaway Key and going in and out of Port Canaveral. So I have my views about my trip. We'll talk about it. Do you know what though? Because I've shared some of my thoughts on my social media. I'm really glad that we did it. Really glad we did it. That's kind of where I'm going to start. It was an experience. It's the first time I've ever been on a cruise ship, and it was a really different kind of holiday. So I want to know, first of all, your dining highlights. Let's start with the important stuff.
Oh yeah, the important
stuff. So they obviously do rotational dining, enforced rotational dining. In fact, you don't get a choice.
Yep. You could eat the quick service or room service.
Oh, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 3 main restaurants are 1923, which has a Roy Disney side and a Walt Disney side, and which is their kind of. I was trying to work out how to describe it. It's probably. I felt it was a little bit like the Brown Derby.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree. It's like upscale, feels art deco.
Yeah, a little bit classy, not too. It's family friendly, but not in a way that would be intrusive to adults if they were dining on their own.
Right.
I thought.
And
really
we noticed that a lot of people were really taking on that theme of the 20s. And we saw a lot of people dressed in their kind of Great Gatsby wear.
Really?
Yeah, we saw, ladies in flapper dresses and guys in.
Ladies in what dresses?
Flapper dresses.
Okay.
With the
just
tassels
clarifying
or
what you said. Just clarifying.
I'm sure there's some sort of thing over there that's very anyway. There's lots of fun roaring 1920s Great Gatsby wear, and it was really cool because you, on any given night, look and know who was eating in 1923.
Yep.
You know,
they
weren't dressing like that going to the world of Marvel. I don't imagine.
So
I mean, maybe they
I
were.
don't think we saw anyone dressed up.
So Robin and Simon, you're really into that whole sort of going with the flow of being in costume.
Yeah.
Did you do it on the cruise?
We did. I mean, I like to dress fancy every day.
Yeah.
That's just who I am.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't go for flapper style for 1920s, only because it's not really my era. I like a bit later. I'm going like 50s, maybe into the 40s, but never as far back as 20s. They don't do much for my shape, but we did dress up. But it was fun to see everyone else dressed in their sort of 20s, like gold, like fringing.
Yeah, lots of fringe.
Yeah.
Lots of fringe. I'm gutted. You didn't see any of that. Oh, it's such a shame.
Did you have the later dining or the earlier?
Yeah, we had the later dining.
Oh, yeah, we had the later
as well.
Because there's two dining. So people don't know. There's two dining times. One is 6:15 and one is 8:15. You can't deviate from that, unfortunately, if you're eating in those restaurants. And the show that they have on in the main theatre happens twice as well, so that depending which way around, you can either do dinner then the show or show then the dinner, if you wish to watch it, so that nobody misses out. But we deliberately chose the later dining just because like 6:15 is quite early for dinner for me.
Yes. That was our thought exactly.
Yeah. Also, less children.
I was one of those people with a child.
Yeah, but like young children.
But Millie's an old soul.
Yeah,
she is.
Yeah, I feel like young children, though. I mean, less young children. Though there was a table beside us with young children that the child just slept through dinner. So
okay, they sleep through dinner every night, though.
No, only the last night. I think by the last night they were exhausted and they just slept across two seats.
Another nice thing about having the later seating was that you weren't having a full meal and then going to sit through a show. We could just have you enjoy your show, maybe go get a cocktail or something, just kind of wander the ship a little bit and then go to dinner. Yeah. We felt that rhythm was a lot more relaxing.
Yeah.
And you weren't shoved out after dinner either, because there's another seating to come through. So you could linger if you wished, which we did a couple of times.
Same.
Yeah. Same reasons for us. We've always done the later dining for that, for those reasons. I'd rather do the show first rather than sit full of dinner watching the show thinking bloated.
Yeah.
Right.
Robin and Simon, do you request a table on your own? Because sometimes they do sit couples. You were with friends, actually, weren't you? This time?
Yeah.
Have you been in a situation where they've sat you with other people?
We've done it once when there was a large group of us. We've actually requested
twice we've linked
with your parents.
So if we've linked with other people, they've just put us on a table of our own. The first time we did it, we did request a table of two because I was nervous about sitting with people I didn't know. And we'd gone for an anniversary trip, so I was like, I just don't want to sit with other people. I just want to be with the two of us, and that was fine. And to be honest, this trip, there were four of us, but obviously they have larger tables, and we didn't request just to be the four of us. And there was a table right next to us with the same table number, and it was there was no one on it, but they said, you never know, you might have someone tomorrow, they might move from the table they're on. So the option was there, but no, it was just the four of us.
My thinking was we were two individual rooms.
Yeah.
That could sleep four in each of the rooms.
Yeah, so the capacity for the tables
gave us the capacity, but we didn't have to share at all. That's the table next to us did. They were two separate families that were sharing.
Oh, see, I don't think I'd like that.
I don't think they did.
Don't think they were liking it either. I have to say, the looks on their faces, it didn't look like they were enjoying every meal together.
No.
And was there any gap in between the two families, or were they shoulder to shoulder?
No, they were on the same table. They were the same table. And they ate as if they were not on the same table.
Woof.
Oh, I have to say, we had people at the table next to us on the first night, who, in my mind, were the absolute people that I did not want to be next to us. In so much that Loud wanted to chat to us, have a talk about the cruise. And I was Zach's laughing because you know exactly what I'm like. And I was just, this is
because you know who I am.
I'm just like, I really don't want to talk to you. He was really loud and brash, and oh man, and he was American. I'm just going to say, and the more we tried to dissociate from the conversation, the harder he tried to engage with us, which was really difficult. The second night they weren't there. I think they must have gone to Palo or something like that. And then the third night, they were at a slightly different angle, so there was no opportunity to engage in conversation, which was fantastic. But I was dreading. This was night one, and I was like, "Oh no, they're going to be next to us every night. We're going to have to be polite and engage in small talk and all of that." He was not getting the message as I was cutting, my small talk very, very small. He wasn't picking up on the hints. But I didn't want to chat. But it's one of those things. You deal with it, don't you? You're on holiday and you sort of go, okay, fine. So 1923, I thought the menu was outstanding.
Yeah,
the quality was really good.
Yeah, I think out of all the food, that was probably my favourite restaurant.
I don't know which.
Yeah,
I don't know which was my favourite. I really like it. Sounds really dull. I really like the tomato soup in 1923.
I have that as well. Yeah,
it was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really good.
I know that sounds really sad, but
when you look at it, you think, is it going to just be like a tin of Heinz tomato soup?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It wasn't.
So much more flavour than that.
It was clearly fresh tomatoes, and it was very good. But yeah, I had plant-based options in each place that we ate, and they were good. They weren't necessarily something that I would have chosen all the time, but they were all pretty good. Other things about the rotational dining, just the fact that your servers go with you.
Yeah.
So I've just seen Sean's comment.
I was giggling.
It kind of was a bit like that, but yeah, it was difficult. So you take your servers with you. So you meet your servers on night one, and they come with you to each restaurant, which is quite cool. Yeah. How are your serving team?
Ours were great. Yeah, ours were great. And it was one thing I really like, and I always like, is that they get to know you straight away. They know what you drink, they know the sort of food you like, and they recommend things based on the things you like on the menu, which I appreciated. Our serving team, I mean, I wouldn't say they went amazingly above and beyond like we have had in the past, but they were still very, very nice. I'd request them again. They were very pleasant. Really like them. What about you, Zach?
They were amazing. Ours were really above and beyond. And even after the first evening, which I actually got seasick the first night and wasn't able to participate at 1923. So, and that was the one I was looking most forward to. So I didn't really get to know them. But literally the next morning at breakfast, the guy who was taking care of our drinks and things like that, he was working at Marceline Market. And I mean, one meal, and he immediately sees my dad and goes, "Oh, Mr. Scott, good to see you." I mean, out of all the tables they served the very next day, then we saw them on Castaway Key, and it was just like they were our friends. By the last night, I was like, I don't want to leave these guys. And that was really cool. I'm sure other servers weren't as memorable or as energetic, but we really lucked out in that it was like they were part of our trip. They were part of our Love Boat experience. Like they were the new characters in our story. It was great.
Yeah.
I think that's a really great way of putting it, because I think when you get to dinner and to know that, to have that familiarity with the servers, actually it's quite unique, because unless you go to you go to the same restaurants all the time, you see the same servers, and but unless you have that experience where people know you and they go, oh, like Morgan always drinks Fanta. That's his drink. And by, halfway through the first meal, that had clearly been clocked. And then every other time the Fanta was there before he'd even opened his mouth. And they'd worked out that I wasn't eating meat, and so the recommendations were coming for me slightly separately, which I appreciated. And they sorted Millie out a treat. They were so great with her and made sure that she had everything she needed. I think it was we had an interesting experience on the first night because, and this is probably one of the things that may have clouded my judgment on the cruise. We had an unfortunate experience where one of Morgan's bags did not appear at his room. Yeah. So when you arrive at Port Canaveral, we were there in our car. We got out and we gave our bags to the nice man on the dock, who tagged them all. I watched him tag them, and I, took all the bits of paper. I was like, yeah, they'll be fine. And then we got to they were due to be at the rooms like 3-4 o'clock, something like that. Your bags get to outside. They're left outside your door. And certainly our 2 bags were there, and then Morgan's 2 bags, one of them was there. And the boring black one appeared, but the case that looked like Captain America did not appear. They're like, can you describe, when we went to guest services, they're like, can you describe the bag? And we were like, yeah, it looks like Captain America. Morgan's like, he had a photo of it. He goes, it looks like this. And they're like, oh yeah, no, you can't really lose that, can you? But they didn't locate it. And it had an air tag in it, which was showing it was still at Port Canaveral. Yeah, so we got to I was really clear with them that they needed to do something to find it. They were like, it will turn up, we get to 7 o'clock and like Morgan's there in his swimming trunks and t-shirt that he's had on all day. And I was like, we're going to dinner, and he's got no clothes, he can't even shower, he's got nothing. And this isn't okay. And to be fair, the girl at Care Services, she was great. She was doing everything she could. However, they were very late. It's obviously a common occurrence. It obviously happens most cruises that someone's bag doesn't quite make it to the right place. They were really laid back about it. I was not. And I kind of had sense of humour failure when we got sort of 8 o'clock just before dinner. And I was like, this isn't okay. And they went, go to the shop, buy a t-shirt, buy what you need to buy, have a bag of amenities that toothbrush, toothpaste, those things. So we did, and it really clouded our experience on that first night because Morgan was stressed because all his stuff wasn't there and we didn't know where this bag was. So understandably, it wasn't a really happy experience. We got to dinner, and I mentioned to the server who was doing our drinks said, "Oh, you're having a great time," and I was like, "Well, actually, no, this has happened." And he was brilliant. And within maybe 10 or 15 minutes, our head server, who has like a bigger spread of tables, he came over and he said, I hear there's been an issue. Luis has told me. And he said, the bag's at the room. And I was like, what? And he said, bag's at the room, don't worry. And I was like, okay. And Morgan went, I'm going to go check. So off he went. Came back, fully changed.
Wow.
And indeed, the bag was at the room. So
as if by magic.
Right. And it was a really strange thing that whether it was coincidental, but I absolutely feel that the serving team at the restaurant went, well, clearly these people aren't having the best experience. Yeah. What can we do about it? And, whether they made some phone calls, whether someone went to, I don't know quite what happened.
Someone must have made a phone call. Otherwise, how would they know your bag was there?
Right. And it was just like within 10, 15 minutes, suddenly it was all solved. And then we had a much better evening, apart from the man sitting at the table next to us. He was all right. He was very pleasant.
Maybe he overheard your ordeal and was trying to make it better.
Maybe so. Yeah.
I've got this vision that he's actually sat at home. When he's having his dinner on a Sunday, and he's talking about this really rude
British family. I hope so.
I went on a cruise and they never wanted to speak to me. They spoiled my entire cruise.
He has this like personal challenge that he's supposed to talk to so many people a day and brighten their day. And he's like, in this one family, they kept me from hitting my mark.
Yeah. They didn't want their day brightened.
Yeah. So that was our first day experience.
That was wonderful.
It went from really challenging to actually great after that. So
that's good.
It was Butcher's just said in the chat, it happens all the time. Exactly.
Yeah.
When it's your first cruise and you've got an air tag that's saying the bags over, it's a bit challenging.
I would have been freaking out. I'm not even gonna lie. I'd have been definitely stamping up and down.
She was nightmare, isn't it? Worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Can any of you guys answer this question? Because I think it's a really good one. So Jane was asking, can you link reservations, sister, family, and her boyfriend, and be able to eat together? Can you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the easiest way to do that is go on either the app or log into your own cruise profile on the Disney Cruise Line page, and you can add reservations. So you need their reservation number and their names, and then you can give yours to them. You add them, so you'll be able to see your reservation and theirs. They'll be able to see their reservation and yours, and and then you don't need to do anything. They'll know you're together, and they'll seat you together. We didn't. In all the cruises we've done with other people, we've never had to phone up and say we want to sit together. They just know that we're traveling together.
And we've been with other people in a group of 11 or 12.
I think it was 11 or 12, and we had a table all together.
We were seated together for.
We had 12, and we were all together.
That sounds great. Yeah. There you go, Jane. You see, we're with the people who actually know this stuff. I'm getting heckled. My phone's going mental. You see, I keep getting heckled because I've never been on a Disney cruise, and it's like it's the fact that why are you here? I'm just like I'm purely here to press.
It's the eye candy.
There we go.
Exactly. Yeah, I wish that.
But he's got to look after the technology as well.
Right. I clearly can't be trusted after the first 2 minutes of the show. Now we know why.
I actually think I think questions like Jane's and stuff like that is so important, because you know when you're in that bit where you've maybe mastered the whole thing about going to Walt Disney World, and you, like you did, Claire, it's that, shall I just dip my toe in the water? Go on, let's book a short cruise, add it onto the holiday.
Yeah.
And then you suddenly got all the different planning issues that you're thinking, I never thought of that.
Do you know what? I was completely out of my depth with the cruise, and Robin and Simon were fantastic. Yeah, well, maybe. Robin and Simon and also Becca were so helpful in terms of, even just the online check-in process. Oh my goodness, it took much longer than I thought it would. And I need to give a shout out to Lisa Milam. I know she's not in the chat today, but she actually was our travel agent, and she booked it all for us. And she was brilliant. Wow. She was so helpful. She sent me such a detailed explanation of everything I needed to know. And having read that about 3 times, I still asked questions, because it just is. I guess it's how people feel when they're going to Walt Disney World for the first time. It's just, I felt so out of my depth. I didn't know what to expect.
It was a completely different experience.
Yeah, and did you have the same feelings, Zach? Did you do all of the? Yeah, it was just slightly surreal, actually. By the time you sort of walk into the ship, and you've got the big chandelier and the stuff. And did they give you a wand? Please tell me they gave you a wand.
I did not personally grab a wand. Most of the other people in my family got a wand. I was just ready to get on. My brother-in-law, God bless him, he's an engineer, so he has a different mind than I do. I was just like, tell me where's the coffee? Where's the John had the entire ship memorized before we got on the boat. So we're standing there on the gangway getting on, and I just look over and went, hey, where's coffee? And he said, oh, deck 11 aft. And I'm like, great. I'm like, he's got it. And I'm like, I don't know why you know that. That's weird, but I'm glad to have you. And we get on. And so I had people that fortunately were doing all of the planning. They were watching the vlogs. They were watching all the things. And I just said, I'm going to drive the car to the place. You take care of the rest.
Yeah.
And they did.
Great idea.
Travel agents, let them take care of it for you. Walt Disney World people who don't do cruise. This was my first time. It was phenomenal. Spoiler alert. But the planning is a whole different process.
Yeah. You were the Simon in our planning, and I was your engineer.
We're just like, just let us know where to be. We'll be there.
Yeah, I'll just turn up. Oh, I've got a new shirt. Oh, I've got a new cup. Yeah, you have to take a cup with you for the drinks machine. Oh, okay.
We didn't do that.
Buying another 2 when we were on the ship.
So that was weird. I know we were talking about dining. We've gone off that for a minute. That was the weird thing for me, that the shops on the ship aren't open.
Right. That was so bizarre to me.
It was really strange. You can't go and buy anything until like 6 o'clock in the evening.
Tax reasons.
Is that while the ships
you don't pay sales tax on the ship
when you're out in the Atlantic or the Caribbean Sea? You don't pay sales tax.
Have to be a minimum distance off the shore, a bit like when they have casino ships that disappear out, do all the gambling offshore and then come back. Same for the sales tax. So you don't pay sales tax on Disney merchandise on board. So you'll notice the price you pay is what is stamped on the.
But the price is still astronomical on most of it.
It's still Disney, right? You're just not paying.
Disney.
You're just not paying the sales tax.
But you still bought shirts and cups and pins.
I don't know what you mean. I didn't buy
it. Well, that sums it up, though, isn't it? It's just like
it's kind of funny that it's closed and you walk through that grand atrium, and that has to be my new favorite Disney smell. I don't know what it is, but whatever they pump into that atrium area it's amazing. It's just so good.
It's new Disney stuff.
It's new. I don't know. It's lovely. But then, you're walking, there's nothing going on. You might see a character meet and greet go on, and you're like, okay, that's great. I'm on my way to get coffee. And then you come back through and the shop's open. Everyone's like, go, it's open.
Yeah.
Make your way in.
It was a bit like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. You have to get the stuff. They have on board the stock that they have on board. So if something sells out, that's it. Miss your chance. I was one of those people. I was waiting.
And they don't carry sizes for everything.
Waiting to spend my money.
Gosh.
Yeah,
no,
Yeah.
They would only have a certain amount per day. If they sold out, they might have it the next day. There was a really nice polo shirt that I wanted. They only had small and medium. They didn't have anything larger.
Yeah.
And I said, well, will you have more tomorrow? And they said, well, maybe. Like, what do you mean, maybe?
Could you go and look for me and just let me know? Maybe just put one aside.
That was an interesting thing. Shop, just that shopping, everything about it.
Yeah.
I find it weird as well. I want to browse and spend money. I don't want to look at it through the window or wait.
And the shops were super crowded as well, because when they did open, it was like magnet, and everyone just suddenly descended, and the queue to pay was really long. And I didn't go into any of the shops on the expensive ones on the far side of the atrium. I didn't even set foot in them.
Oh, they have cute stuff in there though.
I know, but they never opened when I was ready to go in.
Yeah,
that was.
I went and had a look in the watch store.
Yeah, I looked in there myself. It was really nice.
I looked at some stuff in the window and I was like, I'm not even going in.
They had some Tommy Bahama, so Simon quite likes some Tommy Bahama shirts. So
everyone likes Tommy Bahama.
Yes, we did have a little look.
Not Russell Brand. Russell Brand doesn't like Tommy Bahama.
Oh well, do you know what?
I see. Forgetting Sarah Marshall reference where he spills a glass of red wine down his Tommy Bahamas shirt. So improved it.
I tell you what, guys. If you can keep talking, some of the photos that we've got here, we've not shared very many of them.
Okay. Go on.
The actual interior of the ship is quite something to behold. So if I keep putting it, I'll roll through a series of pictures. There's some with the exterior stuff. I've also got a video that Zach sent. I'd love to know what it was, but we'll get there eventually, Zach. Don't you worry.
Oh yes, so is that my photo? I think it is.
Must be.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. So this is like one of my favourite things on the whole ship. I did spoiler alert, I did martini tasting.
Shocker.
The bar.
Surprise.
So it was really interesting. I did martini tasting in Nightingale's bar, which is next door to the main atrium. And Nightingale's is it's quite a small location. That's not Nightingale's, that's definitely
okay.
That's the Star Wars.
I haven't got a clue what
no, it's
I'm
fine.
on. So it's just like, is it this one?
No, it's not that. It's a kids club. No. I'll find it in a minute. Don't worry. Don't.
I'll just keep clicking on random pictures.
I'll have a quick look at it and I'll see if I can see it. So Nightingale's is this lovely bar that's very small. It's that one.
I think it's the only bar we didn't go in.
Okay, so you can see that.
Same with me.
They the theming behind this bar.
Yeah,
right.
There's always tastings. Yeah.
The theming in this bar is incredible. So it's obviously set around the specific spot in the film of Cinderella where the Ugly Sisters are singing "Sing Sweet Nightingale," and the barman who was doing the martini tasting, Sam, who was from Richmond. Who was awesome. He was explaining to me afterwards that that chandelier that we saw with the glass bubbles, that is specifically the bit, because when the Ugly Sisters are singing Sweet Nightingale, that is the point where Cinderella is scrubbing the floor with a bucket and a scrubbing brush, and all the Lucifer's there, and all the bubbles are coming out of the bucket on the ground and floating up into the air, and they mold with the singing, and you see that swirling around. Go back and watch Cinderella. It's a really, really clever moment.
I know the scene you mean. It's lovely.
So it is. But that chandelier, if I can find the picture again, actually is obviously the bubbles from Cinderella's bucket, and round the outside is the actual notation of Sing Sweet Nightingale.
Wow.
So it's how it mixes in together.
I love that.
Wow.
So the level of detail, I was like, oh my goodness, this is like the best detail ever. And then Sam had actually been on the ship in Germany before it and come across to America with it.
Cool.
And so he was there when they installed that chandelier, and he was saying that they ordered something like 140 of those glass bubbles at different sizes that got shipped to Germany, and about 60 of them survived. And watching the chap install it, he said, was like the most hair-raising moment, where they sat there literally watching them trying to construct this chandelier in situ without dropping any. And he said that a few got broken. It took about 7 or 8 hours to do it, and it was really high stress levels watching them do it. But for me, that's one of the most cool details in the whole ship. It's such an amazing part of the film, and until you stop and you look, it's like one of those classic Disney detail moments for me. It's like, stop and look, and then you go, oh, okay, the amount of effort that's gone in to create something so beautiful. And it sits above a piano, and they have a pianist there every evening who plays.
So from Disney detail, Robin, I'm sure this is one of your photos. Where is this one from? Because this again was...
that is the statue in the atrium. As you get on, there's a statue of Cinderella, and actually behind Cinderella is Lucifer.
Yeah.
And just at the back of her dress at the bottom, they're peeking out.
Absolutely brilliant.
Such a cute little detail.
Jack and Gus just peeking out.
They're only like this big. I mean,
they're tiny. They're really
cool.
small. But I got down to take a photo because I was amazed at the detail. And I think you hit the nail on the head for the entire ship. I mean, it goes with Disney in general, doesn't it? The level of detail.
I didn't expect that on the ship, to be honest with you. I knew people said it's beautiful, and like the chandelier in the atrium's lovely and all this stuff. I didn't expect the level of detail in all of the different areas. So I think there's a photo of the bayou, or the bayou. I don't know how you say it properly. Bayou. I think it might be.
I think that's my favourite bar.
That one.
That is the most beautiful space in that ship.
Yeah, I would agree.
It is stunning, isn't it?
It really is. I don't even think that photo does it full justice.
No, I took some photos, and I was trying to use like a wide-angle lens and try and grab some. And it was really hard. It was an afternoon, I think, the Castaway Key afternoon. So there's lots of people still off the ship, so it was quite quiet. I was trying to go around and take some photos of the different spaces, and that space. I didn't go in there in the evening. I don't know how busy it got, but it never seemed to have that many people in it.
Not in my experience.
We saw some live music there, and most tables were full with people listening to live music. Not all, so it still didn't get what I would call busy. It was still quite quiet, and it was just so relaxed. And
I did sit at the bar there. I had a.
They serve beignets. That's why.
See, I missed that. I completely missed that. I was too interested in the gin.
You didn't miss much.
Oh, really? They were not great.
Not quite Pauline standards.
No, I that was our thought as well. Was not French Quarter.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say about that.
I did sit at the bar there. I had a gin drink of some kind sitting at the bar there. The barman again was British. I noticed there was a lot of British crew in the entertainment team and in the bar staff.
A lot in the entertainment team.
We actually asked about that. We asked someone about it. Did you?
Why are you all British?
I wonder if you tell us what did they give you an answer?
They did.
They did. They gave us one too. You go. Tell us what they said.
So I actually asked Sam, because we were having a chat about it, and he said there are two reasons. One, British people. So we noticed that the entertainment team, the bars, he said because they're trained well. And the second thing is, he said, because Americans like the British accent, and therefore having them front of house really works.
There you go.
He's not wrong.
Different reason we were given.
Oh, okay. They're cheap.
No, I don't know. I feel like you were given the Disney version and we were given the real version.
Go on. What were you given?
That because it started in Germany, it was easier for visas.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's probably
from Europe.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Even at the point they're at now with the Disney Wish, it's still on like the inaugural sailings.
Yeah.
So people have gone home and come back. Yeah.
The launch team is still part of the majority of the crew. So
yeah,
a lot of the crew that are on there are often
most of the people said they open
and then they'll rotate to the new one.
Picking it up for Darren, the cruise director. Just saying, he was on the stage.
It was a woman that was
we had Leslie, and she was lovely.
She was British? She was American. She was from New York, I think.
Oh, was she?
We had Daz.
No.
Darren in his shorts. He was.
Right.
I think he was from Essex. He was great.
What was the name? Was it Megan? Did you have Megan as she was one of the entertainment, the quizzes and stuff?
In Luna. Yeah. We had her. And we had another couple of British guys as well.
Yeah.
There was loads of them. And it was great actually. And in the kids club there was a whole load of British staff as well. So Millie, when we went down on the day that you arrive, you can go and have a mooch around the kids club. It's open house, you can go and experience it. I have to say, the kids club was like the coolest place in the entire ship, I think. It was
which one?
All of it, the whole place.
It's amazing.
Did you go down the slide, Zach?
I didn't. I missed that. I was so upset because I was like, there's a point when we get to go down the slide. And they were like, oh, yeah, that was like an hour ago. I was like, no.
So Millie
I was having daiquiris somewhere else.
Oh, well, there we go. So Millie did go to the kids club a couple of times, only for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half at the time. And
I'm going to put this picture up. There you go. That was Claire's hour. Well, Millie was in the kids club. That was
Claire.
That is no joke. That was my martini flight. And actually, I had someone next to me. I only had one of those rows to myself. Just saying, I didn't have
Okay.
So the kids club was super cool. I think this is a kids club photo. Yeah. So that was part of the princess area. There was really cool Arendelle and Rapunzel area. Let me see if I can bring up some of the things. So yeah, that was the Arendelle section.
Yeah.
That's really
cool. So cool. Then there's the Belle area. So they had the bookcase, and it was beautiful. And there was hardly anybody around at this point. I don't know whether there's any of the other photos. I'm just having a quick squiz so I can let you. There was one that John brought up, which he thought was that one. So this was the Imagineering lab, and in there you could go in. There's each of those little. I don't know if you can see, each of those little diamonds on the wall had a piece of Disney memorabilia, a prop, something that you would have seen in a film or on a set or something, or a piece of concept sculpture art. And then the kids could go and they could build things, they could draw, they could create animation, they could design themselves a coaster, a bit like the thing that used to be at Disney Quest. So you could design yourself a coaster and then go in a booth and ride it, which was cool.
That's cool.
They had the Star Wars area where you could go and look after Lothcats and do all the Star Warsy stuff. And then they had a Marvel bit, which was also very cool, where you could choose your avatar, you assume a suit, and then it was virtual reality, basically, shooting spider webs and doing cool stuff. So it was amazing. And I think that, for kids to have something to do which was uniquely theirs and all the adults are going, that's really cool. Made it really special. So
not something we've ever, in all the cruises, we've never been round for a visit of the kids clubs. We don't have children. The part of me goes, I don't know.
There's two sides to that. If you haven't got kids, then you actually can get into trouble if you go around the kids' clubs.
Well,
yeah.
I think
it's a bit
of a line to be drawn there, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know.
But I think the kids' club stuff was cool. It was definitely one of the better features of the ship, and I think it was extremely well used space. It was huge.
Oh, cool. Can I just say, as the show's gone, we've got more people joining us as well, which as always, we always appreciate people joining us.
Oh, wow.
But also, get in the chat and say hello to us as well. But Danny, thank you for joining us.
Yay. Hi, Danny.
Good to see you. And we've also got Charlie and Stacey from Disney Herders who've joined us as well. So, yeah.
I'm too busy talking. I've not seen all these people joining.
No, but it's really good because I think we're very aware that as much as we get people from the UK watching, which we really love, but we also get people from the US. And we know that the time that we're on is very much based around your afternoon at work. And when things are just on that little slide out of work, and we know that you'll maybe join us or, around about this time at, 4:20 Eastern time in the US.
Yes.
Hey, Nick.
Just for a little bit of a wind.
There might be ninja. There could be a few ninja watchers in there who are trying.
I think there always is. I think Heather and Colton are very guilty of that. I think that's always one of those things because they're on the West Coast, and so it's only just after dinner. So, a big thank you to everybody who continues to join us. It's always appreciated.
I just see the time, and we've really not covered very much at all.
It's quite impressive,
Can we go back to food and restaurants?
That's where I was going to
go. We only covered one restaurant.
Okay, so the other two restaurants, Arundel,
which is all themed around Frozen. And there's a dinner show while you're in there. So they have a singer and Anna else to come on. And
what did you think of that?
I thought it was really cute. Yeah. However, it was very loud. Not them, but other people. And I would have liked, we were like as far away from it as you could be as well. So it was a bit disappointing. I would have loved to have been a little bit closer to get a bit of a better view. I quite liked it though. What did you think?
Zach, you go.
I thought it was nice. I mean, I think we didn't have the closest seats, but we didn't have the farthest seats. So there was a point when Anna and Kristoff make their way around, and so does Elsa, and they have Olaf on a cart. And I was on the very end, so they were right next to me. So that was, I mean, I'm not big on the character interactions, but it was still really cool to be in the midst of everything going on. I thought it was a really cool space. It was really beautiful. There's a tremendously long hallway to get back to that restaurant.
So that's the picture I just put up, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they have all those portraits from the For the First Time in Forever song or whatever it is, all the different songs. It's really neat. So they've got Joan of Arc. So as you walk by, you have to naturally say, "Hang in there, Joan." So I thought it was really good. I enjoyed the meal. I thought the food there was really nice. I'm not the world's biggest Frozen fan, but I still enjoyed the overall experience. I'm a musician, so live music, I'm there for it.
Yeah, that's kind of how my they sang live. When in Disney nowadays do we have them? They sing live.
I agree. I think those actor musicians were really talented. I think it was refreshing to have live music that was actually live, not and instrumentalists that are playing and singing. I found it a little bit loud, but like you, Robin, I found it just a little.
The restaurant itself, rather than them.
I think it had quite a low ceiling.
Yes.
And I think probably the tables are quite close together. More so I felt there than either of the other two restaurants.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the food. I thought the atmosphere was really lovely. The show was of a good length. It was engaging enough to take, but it didn't intrude too much into my meal.
Yeah, good point.
But I just, for me, it was probably just could have turned it down a little notch, and it would have been great. That was my only question. And then the other restaurant that you go to is the Marvel. What's it called? The Marvel restaurant.
The World of Marvel.
The World of Marvel, which is at the opposite end of the ship, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it? Yeah, it is.
I believe so.
Is it?
Or is it underneath? I can't remember.
I don't know. It's in a different area.
Oh no, it's just underneath it, isn't it? I can't remember.
I think they're both at the aft, aren't they? But one above the other.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And it could not be more different in terms of experience and atmosphere. I mean, we're talking digital screens and interactivity. Yeah. Spider-Man comes to dinner, just so which Morgan lost his mind at that point. There was squealing, shouting, photos. I was
the same. I was immediately like,
yeah. He came over. He came over and shook Morgan's hand, and we got a photo. And it was just like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that was going to happen. So I hadn't seen any of that footage. I think it was really, in terms of technology, it was really exciting. I found the food not to be my favourite in that particular restaurant. I thought it was good, but it was that was our last night, and it was a bit like, I wish it had been the other way around.
Yeah, that was our first night, and I'm glad it was that way around.
I quite enjoyed the food there.
Yeah, the food was nice. I have to say, out of all of them, was my least favourite.
From a plant-based perspective, it was actually the tacos at 1923 that I found the least enjoyable.
Okay.
I found the shiitake and tofu udon noodle dish at World of Marvel was.
I didn't have that. What did I have? I'm trying to think what I had. I'll check and I'll let you know.
Now, what was interesting about that I didn't anticipate this going in was that if you like something from a different restaurant, they would still bring it to wherever you were. So for the very first
I did not know that.
So for future reference and for folks who are trying to decide what to do, my sister-in-law and my mom enjoyed this dessert from 1923. Well, the next night, our waiter comes and says, and do you want the whatever it was, the rice pudding or whatever, I'll go get it. And every night subsequently, he would come and bring. There was a steak that I didn't get to have in 1923, but I asked him during the Frozen or Arendelle night. I said, which steak is better? And he goes, oh, go with this one. But he said, I can go get you the other one. And so that is an option. They will take care of you. So, if you're really enjoying those tacos, but you're in a different night.
Hated them.
You're really enjoying those.
It might be quite a good thing. Zach, you sent us a picture, a Spider-Man video from the Avengers restaurant.
I sent so many things I've forgotten. So
okay, all right, I'll dip into this, and then you can maybe just.
Splendid idea. Shall I play the victory playlist?
You have a victory playlist? Sure, hit it.
It was just the coolest.
Yeah.
It was very cool having Spider-Man there, actually.
I did find the interaction, not of Spider-Man, but with Ant-Man. I mean, you can never go wrong with Paul Rudd, don't get me wrong. However, pressing a little thing on the table was a little bit lost on four adults. I'm sure the kids in the party had a great time pressing a button.
I think the atmosphere in that restaurant was really special in terms of like the wall coverings, the digital lighting that was all of it. I think it was really nothing like I've experienced before. Even like the Art of Marvel, the Marvel Hotel in Disneyland Paris isn't like that. There are elements of it, but it's not to that extreme. So I felt like the Imagineers had really had loads of fun and gone, how can we make this as Marvel as possible?
Even down to the flatware and the silverware.
Yeah, right.
Logo embossed on there. It was everything I could do to like take a set home. It's like, are these in the gift shop? I want a plate.
You need to start carrying a man bag or something.
Just jingling as I'm going around.
There's only so people can get the man bag though before it's just holdall that you're carrying stolen crockery, cutlery.
A double bag of crockery.
Right.
I'll have all of those things.
You're going to get a full set, though. That's it. You
table.
can't just have one set, though. You need to have one for everyone. So Christmas Day, you can roll it out. You know.
Yeah.
So the thing I've got it to compare, because obviously we've done the other cruise ships. The similar restaurant on the other cruise ships is the Art of Animation restaurant.
Okay.
So it's the Animator's Palette, and it's it's a bit brighter, a bit louder, a bit funkier experience. They have the screens, and it's all about animation rather than Marvel. And having done both, I mean, the animation is just. It for me was just so much more of a better experience than the Marvel. It was much more interactive.
You have the interactive.
You could draw the thing on the table, and they make it as part of the cartoon. And it dances on with everyone else's on the.
Well, they have Crush as well. Then.
They have Crush that comes around and interacts and talks to each of the tables, and he actually talks. It isn't like a pre-recorded screen that's just there. Obviously. We can't have Paul Rudd out the back just waiting to chat to everyone. Sadly, I'm not sure they got that money.
They could, but the staterooms would cost a lot more.
Yeah, right.
Cost a lot more.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas, obviously, Crush is a bit more interactive.
Okay.
So,
I think all three of the main restaurants are really good. I don't think none of them were bad. I just I think everyone has their preference.
Yeah,
I found breakfast in 1923 to be good.
Yeah,
we
had a mixed experience. So we went there for breakfast one day, and it took well over an hour.
Oh,
yeah, I think they'd forgotten about us somehow. So it was really long. But then we actually had our debarkation breakfast there as well, because that was our last night dinner. You go to the same restaurant that you have on your last night. You go for breakfast the next morning. And we had a much better experience that time because it was our regular servers, whereas when we went for breakfast, it was just whoever was working that day. I think it was just different. But the breakfast itself was very nice.
It is like kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Do you want the mayhem of the buffet for breakfast, which queues are big when you go for breakfast there? It's quite chaotic. Experience. So you either use the sit-down restaurant, which is luck of the draw of who you get service-wise at that particular time. It could be good, might not be quite as good.
Well, there is a secret third option. You can have room service breakfast.
So, Zach, did you enjoy the room service option at any point?
So I had cheat codes. We had a room next to my sister and brother-in-law, and my sister got room service. And then I just had her text me when theirs arrived. And then I went over and I got some coffee and pastry. So I didn't really have to do it. It was just like kind of knocked on the window thing. It was great.
That's the best sort.
It was fabulous. I just sat on the balcony. We lifted
you did move the barrier.
Things, so that way we kind of had an extended veranda, which was nice. And just sat as we approached Castaway. It was lovely.
Nice. And I think that's the thing, that the room service is included other than the gratuity for delivery. And I think Morgan did room service breakfast every day. And I feel like we missed out. He had his own cabin, just saying. He didn't just sit there in front of us eating it.
He had his own cabin. Yeah. That's very bougie.
Yeah, I think
I'm not staying with my mum, dad, and sister. I'm on my own.
Right. He did. Yeah, he had his own. Veranda cabin, and his veranda was like 3 times the size of ours. He had one on the way back of the bulge on the side.
Yeah.
He had one of the wedged ones on the return from the bulge, and so he had a lovely cabin. But he did room service breakfast every day, and then I think in the evening we probably missed out on the room service. I don't think we didn't make enough effort to make the most of it, to be honest with you, because I don't think we got the cheese plate once, which I'm gutted about.
Claire, I'm disappointed in you.
I know.
If there's one thing on the room service menu to have, it's the cheese plate.
Yeah, I know that now.
End of night, late night, post dinner.
I think we ordered it at midnight.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that
we great.
I completely slipped my mind, and I feel like I've totally missed out on that. So in terms of the other restaurants, did either of you do Palo or Enchanting?
Yeah, we did palo, but for
Okay.
brunch. Yeah.
How was that?
Well, I mean, it's the same palo brunch menu that's on all the other palo ships. I know the dinner menu is slightly different on this ship to the other ships, but the brunch menu is the same, and it was wonderful. It's always wonderful. There used to be a cold buffet that went along with it, and that died when COVID came, and it's never come back, sadly. So whenever we go, they always say, put it on the comment card, tell them you miss it. We did that.
The buffet that they had at brunch was renowned for the huge selection of.
They'd have a cold fish station. They'd have a meat and cheese station. They'd have a pastry station. They'd have a dessert station, and then you'd order as well. You'd order hot stuff off the menu.
So the selection was huge, but notwithstanding that, though, the brunch menu, even without the buffet, is still great.
It's still really, really nice. It's $45 plus a tip. It's adults only, and it's no shorts for men, no swimwear, no tank tops. So it has got a dress code.
They will provide trousers for men.
Yes.
Really?
Oh, I love that.
Yes, they will provide.
I want them to be like clown trousers.
Yeah.
You forgot your trousers.
This is what you get.
I seem to have lost property.
Or like stamped with "these aren't my trousers" on them or something. That would be brilliant.
We have been with someone that turned up in dress shorts, and he was handed a pair of trousers. He was not impressed about it.
Goodness, that's epic. I was. They're
Love
going to
it.
be comedy trousers that they hand out, surely.
No, they were very nice chino type trousers. So
okay.
But yes, you get mimosas included, and my understanding was you got one each. However, we just seemed to have unlimited, and they weren't charged extra. So
Oh well,
All right.
it's a win.
yeah,
And we did that when the day we were at Nassau.
that's the day that we did
That's
it.
the day we chose to do it. That morning of the arrival.
So we didn't get off the ship at Nassau.
No, we didn't.
Zach,
we
you
have
got.
we
You
have
did
yet.
get off the
and-
ship.
I did.
In all the
We had
cruises.
of-
Was it
that?
good?
It was just so busy, and there was people every 2 feet wanting you to buy something, and I was just like, it was just stimulus overload. We finally did make our way to the beach. I got to swim, but it was just like, okay. And I mean, Castaway literally got there as soon as I could, and then was there till they made me leave. So I think the next time we'll either take a planned excursion from the cruise ship, or go explore castles or whatever, or just stay and enjoy the boat, But that was just me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of what we said to you, wasn't it, Claire? It's if you're doing such a short cruise and you pay such a lot to be on it, it's kind of, for us, we've always thought, well, let's explore some more that the ship has to offer, especially when it's slightly quieter. That was the day that we went on the Aqua Mouse.
So let's talk about the Aqua Mouse. What did you think?
Too short. That was my opinion.
We got to the end and Simon went, was that it? You just made me wait 45 minutes for that.
Oh, wow. That's a long way.
It broke down while we were in line. So
Okay. Zach?
So we decided, my brother, sister, basically like all of us siblings and the Marys, we were like, we're going to get on the boat and we're going to go straight to the Aqua Mouse. That way we don't have to wait. Excuse me. And so we did wait a little bit. And here's why. And this is, I think, again, the Disney difference in the Disney, just their care for all people of whatever their needs are. There was a family that had 2 children that were in wheelchairs and needed a lot of extra assistance. And they slowed things down, but helped them get into the floats and did whatever they needed to do so they were able to enjoy that experience. And everybody was totally okay with it. So it was, the first time was a long wait. And I had that same thought where we got off. I went, oh, that was that. But then it was one of those, if I saw that it was, longer than 20 minutes, I was like, I'll come back. you know, I thought it was really cool. It's cute. I think the Aqua Duck looks longer from what I've seen on the other ships. So, hey, it just gives me a reason to go check out another cruise ship.
There we go.
Did
you go on it, Claire?
I did. So I am not a fan of water slides, just saying. So when we go to Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach, I will do the lazy river.
And hold the coat. You'll hold the coat.
I'll look after the stuff. You go and knock yourselves out on that ridiculous.
I'll sit here with my cocktail.
Well, you know, you've clearly been there with me before. It's just not my thing. But Morgan and Millie, so we did the Aquamouse on the day that we were at Castaway Cay. So we did go to Castaway Cay, but not for a huge amount of time. And I'll probably, if we've got time, circle back to that. We were back on the ship before lunch, and so we were up in the pools around watching some movies and hanging out on the deck. And so Morgan and Millie went and did the Aquamouse, and I've lost track of I can't quite remember how many times they did it in a row. There was no queue. They were literally running around and going straight back on. And they must have done it upward of 10, 11 times in a row without stopping.
Oh,
wow.
And then they came down. They're like, "Mummy, you've got to do it." And I was just like, "Oh, I really don't want to," you know. But I did do it, and it was really great. I think there's definite elements of like McKinley's Runaway Railway. That first section is very cool.
Yeah.
But then they get onto the ride. It is quite short afterwards, and it was fine. You know, I didn't die. I'm still here. So I think it is a really cool ride, and to do that on a ship was awesome. But I say Millie and Morgan did it so many times. They really spent a lot of time going round and round and round and round and round.
I think the noticeable thing with the Wish is there's more pool options, more smaller pools.
They're small and shallow and cold. Was my experience.
Yes, I agree.
We didn't go in any of the family pools, but we noticed walking around that there were more dotted around the ship. More than the other ships that have got that
smaller and less of the adult. The one downside for us, and it was enough of a downside that we would not go on the Wish again. And it was for the adult or the lack of adult pool and deck.
I felt the same.
It's a small area, isn't it? It's not.
It was very small, and I felt got overrun very quickly. The pool was interesting. There was kind of this seated area, but you're kind of wedged in there with other folks, and then if you don't get in that spot, you're just hot on the deck.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a disappointing setup. I was expecting a little bit more.
For me, what it felt like, it was like they went, "Oh no, we haven't put an adults area in. Oh, it's all right. We'll just put it around the back. We'll put it around here. That'd be fine." And that's definitely how it felt, like an afterthought. It was what really bugged me as well. You walk out, you come out of the lift, you go all the way down the back. The pool was down there. You could go all the way around there. The lift was right there. But the Aquamouse was also right there, so you had to go all the way round again if you wanted to go back inside. And it was quite a walk. It was a long walk, and I was like, "This is just adds to the." I
think that was the biggest downside. The pool was that small.
The pool was so small. The sea day, it was warm. It was cloudy water, and it had a layer of scum on the top of sun cream. You know that like shiny.
Yeah.
It was grim.
The oil slick on the top.
Oil slick on the top.
I'll tell you what, guys, you're selling this really well to me.
Disney marketing are going to take this.
Yeah.
Go in the pool on a different day, John.
The pool on the other day was fine. It still wasn't great. It's like they put more people on there and put a smaller pool area for adults. Yeah. Like, what were they thinking?
I think the adult area definitely was smaller than I expected. But I guess that they were pushing people to be either in restaurant areas, in the inside areas, doing things, or being off the ship. That's the whole game, isn't it? You know, how many people can you move off the ship so that actually there's more space?
I'd say the biggest problem actually was the day at sea. That's when it was.
Yeah, that's the day that it was hell.
If you could say they could do more to push people to use the spa on that day. But the spa options aren't quite as good as they used to be. They've gone up in price.
Really expensive, aren't they?
Yeah. And
we did do the rainforest room.
Did you do it for the whole cruise, or did you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we bought. So actually, Dan, Morgan, and I all had rainforest room length of trip. I think it cost like $160 per person, and that was from the first, for all 3 days we were on, not including debarkation day, because you can't do anything other than eat breakfast and go. And I wouldn't do it again. I think Dan and Morgan probably made more use of it. I was too busy drinking martinis and wine tasting. For me, it wasn't good value, but I think the environment was lovely. I think the staff were fabulous. But I think you've got to be quite invested in making the most of it and cutting out that time to go into a spa when there's all the other stuff to do.
I think we would have bought a 1-day pass, because you can buy them by the day on the sea day, but they don't sell singular day passes on the sea day.
Okay.
I've not used that, obviously, rainforest room, but I've used all the other ships, and it's something that I do really enjoy. I do like a spa anyway, so it's something that I like. But it used to be like $30 for a day on the other ships. So for it to be like
That'd
$70,
be nice.
I think.
Yeah, it wasn't.
A day. We just didn't have time, because the day we got on, they weren't doing it. So the next day was Nassau, and we already had brunch in the middle of the day. By the time we'd finished brunch and had a dip on the aqueduct and been in the pool, there would have been go buying it for a couple of hours. No. The next day was Castaway Cay, and then it was a sea day.
Yeah. So let's talk Castaway Cay, because I'm aware of the time. Clearly, you guys all love Castaway Cay.
Yep.
What was your experience this time? Where did you go and what did you do?
So this trip, we never usually do much. I think in the past we've done jet skiing, but they don't offer that anymore. This time we hired a Hobie Cat. Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
Hobie Cats. Mm-hmm. So a little sailboat, and we got out and realised that there wasn't actually any wind. So Simon, luckily I have
Simon like that.
Simon was doing. What were you doing? I have no idea.
What was the bellows out?
Pumping the sails.
He was pumping the sails. I was like, there's like a lot of effort.
If you know anything about sailing, you can sheet the main sail in and let it out. If you steer, you can almost create a little bit of artificial drive. You see Olympic sailors doing it a lot, and it's physically. If you're a proper sailor, it's physically quite demanding. I was not putting anywhere near that amount of effort in. It
looked like he was putting a lot of effort in while I was lazing there, I'll be honest. I was like, this is great. I'm done now. Can we go in? It's really slow and boring.
So that's
I was in my element. That was something.
It would have been lovely.
Yeah. A little bit more wind would have been lovely, but some of the activities at Castaway they're often cancelled because of weather conditions.
Too much wind.
The Hobie Cat sailing is one, because whilst people say they've got sailing experience, there's obviously a case where some people have not got strong wind sailing experience, and it's easy to get into difficulties even in the sheltered bay that they have there. So I've never done that before. That's something I'd always wanted to do there. So just getting that one opportunity was good.
You get a good view. Looking at that photo, you can get really close to the ship and get some pictures. That was definitely a plus point. Yeah. But in the past, we've had a cabana.
Okay.
It's very hard to get them. Basically, it was this one time we sailed concierge, and to be honest, that's the only way you can get them. Really, it's unheard of to get them otherwise. And that was that would be my top tip to do if you can, is get a cabana, because it was really special.
Did you go over you obviously went over to Serenity Bay, which is the adults area?
Yeah, that's actually where the cabana was when we got the cabana that time.
Zach, did you do the same? Did you go over to Serenity Bay?
I did, but not until much later in the day.
You missed out.
I was running and gunning the whole time. I really didn't stop. We did the snorkeling and went and saw all the really cool stuff under the water. We did the bike trail, which was fun. was doing a little filming, so just to tie some videos together and whatever. Not a lot of work, but just for my own personal stuff. So we went up the big lookout tower, kind of looks out over the island. Got a couple drinks. We had the barbecue. They got these really cute little coconut souvenir cups, which I thought are great.
Capamora.
It was kind of. I just loved it. Just the music, the flowers, the colors of the water. It was just being my first time. I was trying to explore as much of it as I could. I think the next time we go, I'll be like, okay, I've done all that. Now I'm going to get my drink in my beach chair. Call me when it's time for lunch. But I thought it was great. It was one of those places where I'm like, okay, I want to get a t-shirt. We want to get a towel. I want to, take as much of this home as we can.
Yeah.
But that's the great thing about Castaway Cay, is that you can do as little or as much as you want to do. There's things that you could keep yourself busy physically and tire yourself out. You can do the 5K route. You can, with the bikes, sail, kayak. There's so much of that stuff you can do. Paddleboarding, I think, there's parasailing and all sorts of stuff.
So much.
Millie and Morgan took one of the big wheeled bike.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Those look awesome.
I think, look.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, our friends did that. They were going to do sailing, and then they got there and realised that.
It was.
It
was a bit.
Didn't have any sailing experience.
It was a little bit blowy, a little bit overcast on the day that we arrived in Castaway Cay, and I think that probably marred our experience so much that we actually had the stingray experience booked, where you can go and you can feed the stingrays and you can snorkel with them. But when we got there, the feeding bit had been cancelled because the little trays that they float out with the food on were moving too much, so it wasn't safe. And then the snorkeling experience for us, there was various reasons why we didn't do that. So actually, I got to the booth and we cancelled there and then, and they were fine with that. We got a refund for the entire thing. So I think for us, Castaway Cay, we aren't beach people. I am not someone who enjoys sand.
No.
I think it's a bit like Marmite. You either love being on the sand or you don't. And for me, it's not my bag. We explored a little bit. We went round, we walked around all the kids, the family areas. We explored a little bit, but we certainly didn't stay for lunch because I wasn't confident there was going to be anything I could eat. And then we sort of had that conversation around, well, actually, the kids have been out on the bike thing. We could go back on the ship and make the most of the fact that nobody else is on the ship, which is what we did. So I can
confirm they did have veggie burgers available.
Yeah, it's not something that I would probably choose to.
Didn't have a lot else.
I'll be honest. I don't love the barbecue on the island. I always find I try and eat a big breakfast because I don't really like any of it. I find it all a bit.
Yeah, so that we went back on the ship and we actually had a really lovely lunch in the buffet area, and it was very quiet and it was great.
And it was good. The ship was quieter then.
Yeah, completely. And we were able to enjoy the pools, the aquamouse, all sorts of different things. And that's when I took quite a lot of those photos because I was walking around, there was nobody there. So it was nice to be able to experience the ship while it was quiet. I can see why Castaway Cay is a massive draw for lots of people. If you're a beach person, to be able to go to a private island, so cool, and you get beautiful views of the ship. The water is stunning, so it absolutely will hit it for some people.
I also think so. This was our first time ever going on the family beach. We have never gone on the family beach. We always just go straight to Serenity Bay, which is the adults only beach. And each time I say, we should really try and just go to the family beach. And we went to the family beach and I went, yep, that's why I don't like it.
Let's not go to the family beach.
We're not going to the family beach. We left the family beach quite quick. Not only the fact it's very, very busy, and Serenity Bay lives up to its name.
Okay, that's good.
It's really quiet. It's really quiet. Even we noticed this time actually how many more people were on the beach compared to, because obviously the ship's bigger. So in the past, even down to like I can be antisocial when I want to. We'll walk up the beach a little bit just to be away from people and have, I mean, there's so many lounges and umbrellas and stuff anyway, but we'll walk up a bit to the point that the barman don't even walk up as far as us. So you have to balance it just right, or look over and kind of wave so they know, because they'll come over, take your drink order, and then just bring it over to you. You don't even have to go to the bar.
Yeah.
I mean, that I think Castaway is an experience. The shops on Castaway Quay are quite unique. There's some local trader shops, but also there's some unique merchandise to be found. Definitely,
a really cute tumbler from Castaway Quay.
Yes, exactly. So
you don't get discount there though.
Oh yeah, you don't get any discounts. No DVC, no. You do.
I was going to say, in the interest of time, because it is 5 to 10, we've been gone super long.
I blame Zach.
Sorry.
I was just going to say that Millie did do Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique on the ship.
Oh.
Which was the third time she's done it, I think. She's probably getting to the age where she's almost too old for it now. She'd wanted to get the Captain Minnie outfit, and they had sold out because we did it on Castaway Quay Day, so they didn't have any left. So that was a bit disappointing. It was fine. It was great. She had the best fairy godfather who was amazing and really was outstanding cast member. He was incredible. We had so much fun with him. And then we went to dinner in the Marvel restaurant in her in a dress and all of the stuff. And it was cute. I think that's probably the last time she'll do it though, because she's 10 and she's always at a point now where it's like, oh, I'm too cool for school. But, I think there's so many different things on the ship to experience, whether that be Bibbidi Bobbidi, the shows we haven't mentioned, they're great.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Wonderful shows, like Broadway style shows. Really.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
And then, there are so many different coffee shops and like the Ale and Compass Lounge.
Keg and Compass.
Keg and Compass Lounge, which was really cool. Luna and all the trivia. Robin and Simon, did you win some trivia?
We did some trivia. We do like the adults sort of entertainment, like Match Your Mate and things like that.
Did you karaoke?
We did not karaoke.
Zach, did you karaoke?
I karaoke'd.
So did I.
We did win a quiz. We won the quiz that was all about Disney food. Shockingly enough.
Awesome.
Maybe before we go, can I ask you and Zach, like, what was the one highlight, like the biggest thing you took away? Like,
I think for me, the thing that I found surprising, and the thing that I keep thinking back to and going over in my mind, is the amount of detail within the ship, the theming in the different areas, and the all the little tapestries and the walls and the carpet and all of those things. That were subtle but really clearly detailed, properly high-end Imagineering that they could have got away with not doing because you're stuck on a ship. There's no you can't go anywhere else to experience it. So there was no necessity to do that because it's just something that feels intrinsically Disney and added to the whole experience of being on board for me.
Okay.
Yeah. I think for me, like, I have always been a Disney World person. I feel like there are different groups and sects of Disney fandom. Even there's like subgroups, like there's Fort Wilderness people. They're not just Disney World people, but they're Fort Wilderness people. And Disney Cruise Line folks, they are their own, So this was me getting to experience a whole new way of doing Disney.
Yeah.
And seeing that Disney food, the Disney characters, the Disney shows on a boat, it was very different. And so it was like, this was cool. I wanted to do it again. I would like to go on the Dream. I'd like to see a different ship. The fun of like going, okay, we're going to go see a show and it's going to be Disney that we know and love, but then we're also going to go do it. We're going to walk right over there and go to a meal. It was basically like taking all the fun of a Disney World vacation and cramming it into kind of one space. You know what I mean? Where it was everything you needed were just kind of steps away, sometimes many steps away. But I love just there's as little or as much to do as you want.
Yeah.
And the app is brilliant because there's a little favorite option when there's something going on. You can sit the night before and scroll and look and go, oh, there's 80s music trivia at 10:30 over in Luna. Let's check that out. And you'll forget about it because you're doing all your things.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it pops up and goes, hey, in 30 minutes, here's that thing you thought you might want to do.
Oh, yeah.
You guys want to go do that? All right, cool.
Yeah.
And then it was the spontaneity of there always being something to do. Or if you just wanted to just take a stroll around. Mm-hmm. And I found myself doing that often. Just be like, I'm going to get a cup of coffee, just take a walk and sit, read a comic book, just do whatever. Just enjoy being there, and unplugging. So I think that the takeaway was you can do as little or as much as you want and not feel I missed out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, oh, you did that? Did you enjoy that? Okay, good. I did this thing. I liked that.
Do you know what? There's so much on this ship that I think we could keep talking about, and it might be that we need to do a part 2 in the future. Because I'm aware.
You mentioned some of the other things like the hyperspace lounge.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. There's all of the there's so much. If you want us
and
to do another
video of that as well. So
I know we've got so many videos we haven't touched.
Let's book another part 2 in.
If you want us to do a part 2 about Disney Wish, let us know in the chat. If not, then we totally understand. We'll just talk about it between ourselves. Yeah. It is 10 o'clock. We've done an hour and a half. I'm going to get into trouble for being too long.
It's all right. John's in charge.
Yeah, it's all right. Ben and Becca have just collected the bags going through Orlando.
I just saw that. They'll be heading off to the Riviera shortly.
They won't notice. That's fine.
John, I know that Ben made a video before he went of what's coming up soon. Have you got it handy, or are we going to get the right video?
I don't even trust clicking on it. So
go on.
The next thing I'll click on is probably the end of the show video.
Okay, I'm going to put the coming soon video on because I think I can find it.
Fingers crossed.
Is that so I can blame you?
So there we are. We just outed Ben. He didn't update the video before he went.
No, I just thought, it says about Ted Lasso.
Yeah. If you want to watch the Ted Lasso show where we talk about season 3 debrief,
my word.
last Friday night.
What a night.
It's on our YouTube channel. Go back. It was good fun. It went long. It was like 2 hours plus.
Apologies. I ducked out and I went to sit on the sofa for a minute and promptly fell asleep. So
it was fun.
I think I made it to about midnight.
Yeah, we did lots. Thank you, Robin and Simon, for being here. Zach, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
We will have you back very soon.
Sounds good.
It has been too long.
You know where to find me.
Yeah, I do, and I certainly will. So don't you worry, you'll be back, and it's been great fun. John, thank you for
nothing. But I've actually
twiddling the knobs.
Twiddling the knobs is what I do best.
Thank you very much.
I tell you what, it's actually been fascinating just listening to the cruise experience. And actually, I think it's
you're booking one then.
I think it has to be done, doesn't it? Really, But
that's what I said. Do it once, see if you enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it, and just so much information that you've been able to share with everyone watching, everyone listening.
And then just to highlight, we had a show out last week, the first of the month. It was our 4th birthday show. We talked about our dream trips and costed them up. Have a stiff drink with you when you listen. And then next week, we have our middle of the month show coming out where we interview a friend of the show about their recent trip. So watch out for that on the 15th. But thank you, everyone, for being here. It has been so much fun. I didn't expect us to talk so much and not cover.
It was good.
And not cover hardly anything that we wanted to do.
That's exactly it. That's true Waffler style.
Right. So go on, John. You can.
Shall I press? I'll press a button for the end of the show, Claire.
Okay.
And
Well,
and you can say the famous last words.
I'm going to sign off for everyone and say thank you so much for being here. And there's only one thing left to say, which is all aboard.
All aboard.
That's not the right video.